You're watching Reality Check. As the Taliban advance across Afghanistan with lightning speed, taking province after province, the world and the people of Afghanistan are watching with alarm. Will this be a return to the Taliban of old, or has the Taliban, as per its own claims, turned a new leaf? Joining me to attempt to answer some of those questions is Mohammad Sohail Shaheen. He's the Taliban spokesperson who joins us from Doha in Qatar, where the Taliban actually has a political office and has spokespersons like Mr. Shaheen. Thank you very much indeed, Sohail Shaheen, for talking to us on NDTV. Now, just to understand from your point of view, we are seeing the situation on the ground change very, very fast in Afghanistan. The world, or the general estimates, is that you already control about 2/3 of territory and you've seized close to almost 12 provincial capitals. Is that your estimate as well? That's how much territory you now control?
Yes, we control almost 90% of the territory of Afghanistan, and about 15 provincial centers
90%.
of the country have fallen to us. Yes, that's the status quo.
And what about Kabul? Do you believe Kabul is likely to fall under your control, and if so, by when?
We have capability to take Kabul, but we gave way to negotiation to succeed, to reach a peaceful solution. Even before, though we had capability to capture provincial centers and districts, but we were giving the chance to negotiation, because our policy is reaching a peaceful solution of the Afghan issue, because in that case we can have a durable peace in the country. So that is our policy. But unfortunately, on the day of Eid, the head of the Kabul administration, he announced a 6-month military operation against us, and then launched huge mass offensive in Baghlan against our position in Helmand provinces. That started the falling of provinces to us when we reacted to the offensive.
No, but Mr. Shaheen, surely it's the other way around. It was the Taliban that launched a huge offensive the moment the Americans announced their pullout. You launched the offensive.
If you see the falling of the provinces started after the military strategy or military operation for 6 months were announced by Ashraf Ghani, the head of the Kabul administration, on the Eid day. Before that, there was we were restraining our forces to take provincial centers. And secondly, about your other question, that we launched offensive, no, because we are here in Afghanistan. You are far away, only seeing the reports, which are many of the reports are against us and biased to us. The ground reality is that we started the negotiation. We wanted to have the negotiation with them, but unfortunately they were not willing to release our prisoners as per the Doha agreement.
Okay, but let me ask you this, because on one hand you say that you want peace and you want negotiations and that this is a new Taliban, but if you look at what is happening on the ground, there are multiple reports of your forces committing atrocities. For example, 22, and we'll play the video, it went viral, 22 Afghan soldiers who surrendered were executed by the Taliban. This was in Faryab province in mid-July.
This is what I say, the propaganda, the baseless report. That is why I told you, you are only receiving the baseless reports.
No, but sir, there's a video of this.
That video is a fake video. It is two parts spliced with each other. There is no case of our people
Yes.
killing those who have surrendered to us. It is
But
nothing such happened.
What about the killing of the comedian? There was this, he was a comedian. He was also, I mean, he was a police official who also was a comedian. He made people laugh. Again, he was captured and executed. The video is on the screen.
First, he was not comedian, he was Commander Arbaki Militia Commander. Secondly, that he was not arrested or detained by the security forces of the Islamic Emirate or the police of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan.
Right.
He was, yes, arrested by some unscrupulous person affiliated with us, but that person is arrested, he is on trial now.
The person who killed them were not Taliban.
No, they were not official Taliban, the police of Taliban who arrested them, because we have the policy, we have announced amnesty to all, that they can live their life. But if there is anyone such cases who against our policy is taking the law into his hand and doing something, he is arrested and tried in the court, and he will see his punishment.
What about the media? Because again, I've seen statements from your leaders saying freedom of expression, but as you may know, a journalist from India, Danish Siddiqui, was killed by your fighters.
You can't say by our fighters.
And mutilated.
You will ask him why he didn't coordinate with us when we have announced to journalists not once, many times, if they want to come to our areas, to places, please coordinate with us, we will provide you security. But he was embedded with the security forces of Kabul. There was no difference whether they are the security policemen or
Yes.
militias or the soldiers of Kabul or a journalist among them. So he was killed during he was killed during cross firing. So it is not known he was killed by whose firing.
No, but he was after he was killed, he was mutilated further.
No, that allegation I have already rejected 3 times.
Okay.
It is not our policy. It is not our policy. If it is mutilated by the Kabul security forces for our malignment, for giving us a bad name, that is possible. It's up to them, ask them. But
So
our
you're
forces
saying-
are strictly ordered. They will not mutilate anyone because it is against the rule of Islam.
So you're
Clearly
saying that we can-
I plan to mutilate the body of dead body of anyone.
Okay, so but you're saying that if journalists even like myself were to approach you and say we want to come to your areas and we want to film with and you would allow that?
Yes. We have programs for all journalists around the world. When they want to come to our areas to file their reports, they can come. They are welcomed to. Even we have announced that media outlets can open their branches in our areas to see the ground realities with their own eyes.
Okay, but tell me, Mr. Shaheen, because this is again all part of what many believe is an attempt by you to make over. For example, again, we've seen statements by our leaders saying women will have rights to work, they will have the right to education. But there have been reports, Wall Street Journal most recently, about how your own Taliban leaders have actually passed edicts that young women will be forcibly married off to Taliban commanders, widows will be forcibly married off to your Taliban commanders.
Not at all. It is not correct. It is a fake propaganda. That is why I am saying you are only receiving the fake videos, the fake reports. That was one of the widespread message of NDS
Okay.
person in Badakhshan who spread this. and groups, and also give that to media outlets. It is we have refuted. I refuted this. Zabihullah Mujahid has refuted, and also Dr. Naeem reported, who are the spokesman, that it is wrong. It is against the rules of Islam to
So you're
force
saying
a person to give his daughter in marriage. How it is? It is not possible. We rejected this. Our leaders have rejected this. So it is a fake, something fake.
Okay, well, but about women though, because when you were ruling Afghanistan between 96 to 2001, women were banned from education, they were banned from working, they couldn't leave home without a male escort, there were public stonings and executions. Will that continue if you come back to power?
Yes. At that time we were in war. There was a domestic war in Afghanistan. But even with that, we had a medical faculty and 400 bedded hospital in Kabul. Do you know about that? We had a nursing school, girls nursing school in Jalalabad. Have you heard about that? And
No.
we had house schools all over Afghanistan,
Okay.
in all main cities, Kabul, Mazar-e Sharif, Herat, and those things. But no one was reporting about that, because
But you're
they
gonna-
were
Okay, but you're now
intent
saying
on maligning us and spreading propaganda against us, as it is right now.
okay, but aren't you worried, sir, that more and more governments are saying around the world that they will not recognize you, they will not give you legitimacy or support or funds if you're seizing territory by force?
I don't know about those countries who they recognize a government imposed by aircrafts and bombs on the people of Afghanistan, but they do not recognize a government which is supported and upheld by the people of Afghanistan, which the people of Afghanistan want. That is their biased posturing, I think. But as I said earlier, our policy is to reach a peaceful solution, to have an Afghan inclusive government in the country, that all Afghans see themselves in that government and they have participation. That is our policy. We hope to reach that goal.
Do you consider India a friend or an enemy?
You can ask this question, I think, from the Indian officials. Are they look to the people of Afghanistan? We, the people of Afghanistan, consider them as a friend or as enemy?
No, I'm
If,
asking you, does the Taliban consider India a friend or the enemy?
Say it is, I think, again up to them. If they provide weapons, bombs, ammunition to a moribund regime to kill the people of Afghanistan and to destroy our infrastructure and our orchards, our villages, that is really an act of enmity and hostility. But if they do something for the people of Afghanistan, that is for the prosperity of the people of Afghanistan, that would be considered otherwise, not hostility.
But you have been talking to India. The Taliban has been in talks with India.
Where? When?
Well, you would know better than me, but from what we hear, there have been negotiations, perhaps in Doha, perhaps elsewhere.
No, about those reports I have heard, I can't confirm that, because on the basis of my information, such thing has not happened. But of course, yesterday there was a meeting in which also a delegation from India had participated, and our delegation also participated in that meeting, and that meeting was by those countries
Yes.
who are supporting peace and reconciliation in Afghanistan. You know, there was 3 meetings here
Yes.
in Doha on 10th and 11th was
Right.
TRICA meeting, and on 12th there was a meeting of different countries, and which also Indian delegation had taken part.
And what would you say, Mr. Shaheen, to the claim made by India and many countries that you are backed by Pakistan? You are a force backed by the
Right.
Pakistan government, by the Pakistani ISI, the spy agency.
I think it is baseless allegation as ever, and when it is raised from your country, it is more originating from your rivalry with Pakistan, not based on the ground realities in Afghanistan. How it is possible that if there were not the people of Afghanistan resisting against occupation, that another country far away or a few people can fight against invasion and a superpower and other more than 50 countries for 20 years, and still they grow, their popularity grow. So that is the people of Afghanistan.
Okay.
So,
But
but
you know,
I think that is not based on realities, rather they are, I think, politically motivated.
But you know, you say that, and yet you have shuras, Taliban shuras, all based in Pakistan, named after Pakistani towns, the Quetta Shura, the Peshawar Shura, but you say it's based. Let me just ask you in conclusion, though, sir, that
but have you seen
How do you-
if there is a Quetta Shura, base Shura, there will be a building there.
okay.
There will be a place there.
Last
There is
question.
only name, only name.
Okay.
Can you show me where is this Shura located? In which street? In which road? On
Okay.
which road?
Last.
Yes.
Okay. Last question, Mr. Shaheen, that the fear is if you return, once again Afghanistan will become safe haven for terrorist groups like Daesh, ISIS, Al Qaeda.
I think the Daesh, they surrendered. It is a fact. Last year in Jalalabad and Nangarhar and also in Kunar, they were about 2,600 to the Kabul administration. They are now in Kabul with the Kabul administration. There are reports that they are using them in some horrendous incidents. But when we are there in Afghanistan, as we are,
Right.
and we have the government in our hand, there is our commitment on the basis of Doha Agreement that
You will not
we will
allow-
not allow anyone, any group, any individual to use the soil of Afghanistan against any country. That is our commitment. It is our clear policy,
Okay.
and we consider it is part of our national interest.
Okay, that's a commitment that you've made on television and publicly, and we'll certainly
Yes.
hold you to it. But thank you very much
Yes.
indeed. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
indeed, Sohail Shaheen, for joining us and taking all our questions. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.